When starting a product-based business, a lot of people turn to platforms like Etsy, Amazon, and eBay because those platforms already have a built-in customer base, and they're also one big search engine, which ideally would make it quicker and easier for you to start selling your products. And although you're not wrong in that theory, platforms like that aren't always a safe and reliable option for the long term for your business. I recently made a video about why I left Etsy after 3 years, and it kind of blew up. And if you want to read the comments on that video of other people's stories, that video was flooded with other people's experiences with Etsy, some way worse than mine. And one of the most asked questions that I had on that video was, I want a website, but I don't know how to drive traffic to the website to get those sales. People want to leave those platforms, or at least add a website on in conjunction with those websites, but they don't know how to bring those sales in. So I knew this was a video that I had to make to help answer that question. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Adriana, and I've been running my handmade jewelry business, Matera Made, for the last 3.5, almost 4 years now. And I started my website and an Etsy account at the same time and started selling from there. Although my experience with Etsy ended horribly, I do, looking back, think that it was a good idea to start them together. And that's gonna be my number one point. And I'm not super Etsy gung-ho, you guys know that, but a lot of you guys from that video already have an established Etsy. And so I know it's not realistic to just leave Etsy altogether, start a website, and build from scratch again. So my first tip is, if you already have an Etsy started, or even if you don't have an Etsy, you're starting from complete scratch, I would start your website alongside some other platform like Etsy. And the reason that I think that benefited me was because on all of the orders that I got from Etsy, on my thank you cards, I had my website all over it. And I offered a discount code for each person for their next purchase, but only if it was purchased on my website. And I would even take a Sharpie and draw an arrow to my website where it was on the card. And that incentivized people that if they wanted to purchase another piece of jewelry, do it on my website and not Etsy. And I always knew when those discount codes got used, so I could tell who was being transferred from Etsy to my website. I do think that that's a really good way to build that customer base, or at least take those customers from Etsy and incentivize them to use your website. So if you already have an Etsy and you have a good sales funnel coming, good. Use that and bring those people over to your website. My next tip to drive traffic is social media. I know that people don't enjoy incorporating social media into their business, and that's a reason to use those platforms that already have that customer base. But if you want to have your own website and you want to have that security and that direct reach with your customer base, you have to have social media. That does not mean that you have to show your face. That does not mean that you have to do voiceovers. For me personally, showing my face and doing voiceovers has helped me build a relationship with people on social media, but I know and I've seen other accounts where people do not show their face. Maybe they promote with more motivational content. There are plenty of successful faceless accounts where they never show their face, only their hands making whatever they're making, or packaging orders, or behind the scenes. And so there isn't one solid way to be successful on social media, but you do have to show up and be consistent and be thoughtful with your content and bring value, whether that's entertainment or motivation or just piquing someone's interest. People want to see how you make your product or how you create your product. Or if you're making jewelry like me, show yourself making jewelry. If you have a warehouse, show your warehouse. If you do digital products, show yourself creating those digital products. If you don't put yourself out there, then no one will know that you exist. Start the social media account if you haven't already, and start testing to see what works for you. For me personally, doing voiceovers and showing my face, something that people recognize, those videos perform the best for me. But I have a friend, her handle's with Love Jewelry. She makes really beautiful jewelry. She's a fabricator, but she does more ASMR type videos, and her videos perform really well. So there isn't just one style. You have to try them all out and see what works best for you, see what your audience connects with. Use trending audio. It doesn't matter if it's a song that you've heard over and over and over and over and over again and you're annoyed by it. It's trending for a reason, and when you use it, those videos perform well. So get on social media, put yourself out there, whether that's your face, your hands, your voice, or just showing your workspace. Use relevant audio, use hashtags, and and link your website on your Instagram. I personally use Linktree. Something like a Linktree will be helpful for you if you want to keep your Etsy alongside your website. So just get on social media and don't be afraid. There's so many people putting themselves out there, so there's no need to feel like you're the lone wolf. And when you start to see something that gets a little bit of traction, that got a little more views in another video, rinse and repeat and do that again, and just be consistent. Consistency for me is posting at least 3 reels a week. I don't think that you have to post a reel a day, but I think at least 3 reels a week and 1 static or 2 static photos should be just fine. I know it seems like a lot and it will take up a lot of your time. One of the best pieces of advice that I got when it comes to social media is just film every single thing that you do, like everything. If it seems irrelevant, like cleaning up your space, opening new products, filming yourself packaging orders, any little thing that you can film, you're going to thank yourself later when it comes time to create these videos. I use an app on my iPhone called InShot, and that helps me make all of my videos for Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. I believe it's $9.99 a month. Honestly, it's worth it. You can create videos, add text, voiceover, add music. You can add photos in with your videos. It's just a really good editing app and really easy to use. So yeah, get on social media. My next tip is to build your email list. Whenever you're starting your website, you want to enable some third-party email platform. I use OmniSend. I used to use MailChimp. I don't know why. I don't remember when I switched, honestly. All the techie side of things, once I figure out how to do it, I brain dump it because it's not my favorite part, like setting up pop-ups and emails and all those things. You know how when you go to a website and as soon as you're in, a few seconds later, you get a pop-up that says, sign up for our newsletter? That has gotten me the most emails. This thing can grow quickly, and if you think about it, anyone signing up for your email list is going to be someone who's very, very interested in what you're selling. When it comes to social media, yes, those people are clearly interested in your products, but some of them might not necessarily be purchasers of whatever you're selling. But someone who gives you their email is more likely to be a purchaser. Also, social media is somewhat like having an Etsy or an Amazon, whereas you don't have control over those customers. Instagram sometimes chooses not to show my videos to people and chooses not to show my stories to people. So if I'm sharing my new jewelry collection on social media and it's just a day that for some reason my engagement is low, if I send an email, I know that all 8,000 people are going to get my email, whereas on social media, I have very limited control. Still a valuable tool, but limited control. So with an email list, I don't think it needs much explaining, but you can contact everyone in one go anytime you have new items, or when you're running a sale, or if you want to do some sort of exclusivity deal, which has incentivized a lot of people to sign up for my email list. So when that pop-up comes up on my website, I offer a 10% discount code. So that allows me to capture those emails from people who are on my website, because if they're going to buy, now they're going to get a discount because they gave me their email address. I also sometimes on Instagram, every now and then, will share a link to my website where people can sign up to the newsletter to have the opportunity in the future to have exclusive access. So a good way to entice people to sign up to your email is to give exclusive access to your email subscribers over other people. So I use an app that's integrated with Shopify called Locksmith. It is a monthly subscription. I think it's maybe $12 a month, but I'll have to find out and just put it right here. But this Locksmith app allows me to create locks on certain pages on my website and give exclusive access to my email list. Sometimes some of the things that I sell, I have a limited quantity of, or they're going to be special order and I'll only have 2 or 3, or sometimes they're a unique piece and only have 1, and that makes people want to sign up for my email list because they know if I ever put out jewelry in future collections that have a limited number, that if they're on my email list, they will get the code to get in before everyone else. So little things like that help me build that email list. That email list kind of tells me who is more serious about buying my jewelry and more interested in buying my jewelry and less interested in my content, my videos, my tips, and stuff like that. So do whatever whatever you can to build that email list. It really is invaluable and 100% yours. So if you have a product-based business where you have a limited quantity, I really do recommend something like Locksmith because it will help you create some of that exclusivity with your email list and encourage people to join. It kind of is never ending on what you can really offer in there to get that email list and have that direct contact with those people. Another way that I drive traffic to my website is Pinterest. If you are a product-based business, then that's great. You have photos of everything. So yes, it's time consuming, but whenever I do find that I have more downtime, I do post all of my jewelry photos on Pinterest, and I try and create the strongest title that I can, something that people search when they're on Pinterest. So when they see pictures of my jewelry and you click on it, it takes people back to my website, and again, they fall in the pop-up with the email and looking through my jewelry. Every photo that I post on Pinterest of my jewelry is a link of my website. So any extra photos that I can post are just more opportunities for someone to visit my website. You can also create blog posts on your website about your product and create a pin to put on Pinterest as well. So for me, for a good while, I was making a lot of jewelry that had opals in it, and I created a blog post about how to care for opal jewelry. And I haven't, but I should create a pin on Pinterest about how to care for opal jewelry. And then anyone who's looking up opals on Pinterest or opal jewelry, that pin will show up and take people to my website, to that blog post, where they can hopefully go through all the jewelry that I sell. So again, if you're a digital products business, you can create pins about whatever digital product that you're using, what problem it can solve, and create those pins so that people click on it and it takes them back to your website. The last tip on driving traffic to your website is SEO. I think everyone knows what that stands for at this point, but it's search engine optimization, and pretty much you're optimizing your website for Google. On your website, you want to use a lot of keywords for Google so that Google knows what your website is all about, and blog posts are one of the best ways to do that. So like the example I gave before, how to care for your opal jewelry, someone who has opal jewelry or is needing to get their jewelry clean is going to look that up in Google, and ideally they will find my article about how to care for opal jewelry, and again, they will fall down the funnel of my jewelry and ideally buy something. So just make sure whatever blog posts you're creating are relevant to the products that you're selling and the topic, but just try and think outside the box and what people could be searching for that could help them find your website, and start putting in that information into your website so that Google knows what you are and what you sell. And that's the same for your product descriptions. So your product descriptions, you also want to have good keywords. So for my sterling silver necklace, I don't say this is the Blanca necklace, it's really beautiful and blah 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 blah. This sterling silver Montana sapphire necklace is, you want to use those keywords so that when people Google Montana sapphire jewelry or Montana sapphire necklace or sapphire necklace, you want those words to be found so that when people search things, it pulls up your website. So those are all the ways that I drive traffic to my website. I know that it's scary and an investment and a time investment to create a website and build it from scratch, but there's truly so much information online, especially if you're using a platform like Shopify. I've been using them the entire time and they have been wonderful. They have amazing customer service, and because they're such a used platform, there is an infinite amount of information online about Shopify, and when you have problems, if you're creating your website, you'll be able to find an answer, because not only can you talk to a person, but also you'll be able to find the solution online. I genuinely do recommend Shopify if you're building your website from scratch. They have templates that you can use to get started, and again, their customer service is great. So I hope that you make the jump to start your own website. I really don't think that you'll regret that choice. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and if you have any questions, leave it in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.